So beautiful to see everybody. Really, there's no words. And so I'm going to dedicate my learning and my teaching tonight to two people who are out there. Um, my holy teacher, Nan Geffen, who has given me so much for so long, and without whom I would not be sitting in my house behind this microphone doing this crazy job. Mwah, thank you so much. And my dear friend Linda Shusett, who is joining us for the first time from Venice Beach, my hometown, and she's actually lives in my family home, and so I'm getting to see my mom's house behind her, and I was verklempt the first half, so thank God I didn't have to talk before now, but welcome, Linda. Welcome to everybody who's here for the first time or for the millionth time. It's so powerful to be making community even at this distance. And I honestly think that we are rewiring our brains to create deeper, wider webs of community through this exercise. So thank you for being a part of it. So this week, I do feel like of the teachers. I remember many years ago being asked a profound question by Nan's wonderful husband, Jonathan Omerman, another great teacher and fabulous rabbi. And I remember being all wrecked about whether I should go to rabbinical school, whether I should do this or should do that. And I was sitting having a little pastoral time with Jonathan, and he looked at me and he said, "What is your lineage?" And I was like, "What do you mean? What's my lineage?" And he said, "Your spiritual lineage. What's your spiritual lineage?" And it set me off on it's a great question. Like when I study this huge body of teachers and philosophers and thinkers and agitators that comprise Jewish thought, who is my teacher? Who do I feel like I am the spiritual or intellectual descendant of? And I'm torn between really heady people and really hearty people. But I think that in terms of my approach to Torah, that probably I'm a descendant of Zusha, who was one of the wild Maggidim, who is known for not being able to get past the first word of a bracha, right? He's known for like sitting down to bless the simplest thing, a piece of bread, and he gets to Baruch and he goes berserk. He can't hold it all. It's so amazing to be blessing, unbelievable like that. And there's a way in which every single time I sit down to write a drash, I hardly ever get past like the first word. And this week is no exception. And even worse, this week I didn't even get past the first Greek word. I never even made it to the Hebrew this week, because the first word of this week's Torah portion is in the Greek, Deuteronomy. We begin the book of Deuteronomy. Devarim in Hebrew, words or things in Hebrew, but Deuteronomy maybe is a little more is more of a drash, is more of a teaching, because it means second telling. And it basically reiterates all the things that had just happened in the previous three books. And one would have to ask oneself the question, why? Why do we tell this story, all of these stories twice? Why do we, use precious Torah scriptural real estate on the retelling of a story? And I thought about that a lot this week as we entered into this second telling. And it is, the human experience to be in a story and then to be out of that story and retell that story are two wildly different experiences. And we are in a big story right now, my friends. We are in a huge, unbelievable story. What's going on in our world, right? It's not local. This is worldwide. It's epic. We are not in the middle of a story. We are in the middle of an epic saga right now. And the way that a person behaves and reacts and chooses when they're in the story, when the story is not yet tellable because it hasn't been lived out yet, is very different than the way that they remember it. And you all know this because my guess is all of you at least have a friend or a family member or a former roommate or a former spouse or somebody who you went through some kind of wild story with in the past. And you sit down, see each other, you haven't seen each other in a while, or you're calling for that, semi-annual phone call or whatever it is. And you go, oh my gosh, remember that time? And one of you starts to tell the story. And one of you goes, no, that's not how it happened. No, he didn't say that. No, she wasn't there. No, they didn't. You know that? Is everybody familiar with that? Is that a familiar phenomenon to you? Well, yeah, because that's Deuteronomy. That's what we do. And each and every one of us is responsible for holding one aspect of that story that we and only we could hold. Instead of arguing with your family member, or your friend, or your former, say, yeah, that's the way it happened. Both of those ways, all three of those ways, all 5 of those, all 10 of those ways. That's the way it happened, because it happens to each and every one of us a little different. And we have to learn how to be in our own story. And we have to learn how to react to it and how to choose and how to be who we know we need to be, because it's crucial to what we learn. It's crucial to how it all comes out. And we're in a moment right now where our choices to love or to hate, our choices to listen or to shout, our choices to move slowly and carefully or to rush are crucial to our survival. There's a lot of luck involved. There's a lot of things we can't know. There's a lot of choices we're going to make with the best possible intention and still have a very difficult outcome. But each and every one of us is holding a part of this story, and the way that we work through it, the way that we bring our soul light forward is crucial to how it is going to be retold in the future. And on this Shabbat, as we've got this time ahead of us to just be with all of it, as Binya so beautifully articulated in her beautiful poem earlier, it's everything. It's all of it. But you can only do your part the way that you do it. You are responsible for being your own soul keeper in all of this and shining as brightly and as beautifully and as clearly as you can, with the best intentions you can, with the most compassion, the most hope for healing and for hope. So I bless us on this Shabbat, that we make the moves we need to make to manifest the best things we have to offer into the world, so that when this story is retold by our children or their children or their children's children, we learn something beautiful about ourselves. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.